On the front page of the Daily Graphic, we have Kumasi ready for maiden graphic national development series. Explosion rocks Abuadze thermal plant. U.S. pushes for Ghana's debt reduction. And I think in many ways this is like almost a godsend in a way. You know, we've been
praying
since last year to sort out this IMF issue and everything else, and then the U.S. comes in. Of course, the U.S. are big players, in terms of those things. So the Vice President has promised that, listen, we're going to intervene with the Paris Club. We're going to put in a good word for you. And I guess these are good fortunes for the country. Collaborate with MMDA's chiefs to halt quarry site encroachment. Mekuduka to quarry operators. Okay, so that's it for the front page of the Daily Graphic.
And on Ghanaian Times, some of the headlines. Kamala Harris visit. U.S. pledges $100 million package for Ghana and 4 others towards addressing violent extremism and instability in West Africa. And Ghana to collaborate with U.S. to find peaceful resolution to conflicts worldwide. And that's by the president. Highly rated Makalan host exclusive experience in Ghana. 6 in a Sherman soldier murder case remanded again.
All right, I have the Chronicle here, and it says massive reshuffle to rock minority caucus. Muntaka expected to be withdrawn from ECOWAS Parliament. We also have here, I have no hand in anti-gay bill. It's before Parliament. I thought the president's posture was interesting yesterday. Yeah, no, I found it interesting.
Why did you find it interesting?
No, because if you see even, and I will read something from the Citi newsroom.com. Let me just give you that headline. It says here, LGBTQ plus bill will meet, listen to the phraseology, will meet the aspirations of Ghanaians when passed. Do you see that thing? But he is like, listen,
I'm not trying to be
I'm not saying this, I'm not saying this. But trust me, when it is passed, Ghanaians will generally be happy, with whatever is in the bill. So, yeah, I just found it very interesting. Rollins would have challenged us to swear on Antoine. This is Zaneto, his daughter, speaking, Honorable Zaneto. Collaborate with MMDC is, again, that story was on the earlier Daily Graphic, to halt encroachment on quarry sites. Right, a scripture for today on the front page of the Chronicle. Even my close friend in whom I trusted, who ate my bread, has lifted his heel against me. Psalm 41 verse 9. This is,
we know.
Do you remember? Hey, Ato. That was the part. Hey, Ato. It was the part. All right.
Oh,
so
my
that's
God.
it for the Chronicle.
All right, so on the Finder, some of the headlines here are, creditors agreed to form committee on Ghana, and that's by Oforiatta, the finance minister. And soldier slaps policeman, provoking violent scuffle. Struggling banks to submit recapitalization plans, and U.S. to engage Ghana's creditors to push for debt reduction, and that's by Kamala Harris.
All right. The New Crusading Guide has these headlines here. It says, U.S. to help Ghana resolve economic crisis. Commits $100 million to fight conflicts in coastal West Africa. Of course, we know that it's going to include, so the money that is being pumped in is supposed to support Nigeria, Benin, Togo, Ghana, and Ivory Coast.
Yeah, so basically the West African.
Just, the countries here. No MP was paid to approve new ministers, Paul Chumberema reveals. And MPA chief executive calls on national chief imam. Court injuncts Solomon Minta Aka from holding himself as head of Ni Aquano royal family. And China pledges support for Ghana's debt restructuring. Well, it looks like we're making some good inroads
I'm
there.
happy
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
I just pray everything happens real quick,
Yeah.
so everything, all the
Yeah,
prices
things
of,
can
of,
start,
settle down.
settling
And,
nicely. Yeah, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So on the daily guide, some of the headlines that we have here. The big one here is U.S. pledges $100 million to fight extremism. Samira affirms Nana's youth policies. I'll restore financial discipline, says Mahama. And Ashaman murder suspects denied bail. And court demands death certificate on coup doctor.
All right. I have my final paper here is the Anchor, and on the front page says, limping NDC on manhunt for traitor MPs. Wow. Names drop as angry foot soldiers and delegates await primaries. Okay. Now, you know what I find interesting? I'm wondering to myself, Chris, whether at the delegate level, people feel aggrieved that these ministers were passed because certain individual MPs decided to vote
Yeah.
the other direction.
Yeah.
Do you get it? I'm just wondering to myself, because I think at the end of the day, people's votes are quite personal, and so at the delegate level, they have to vote. It's still personal.
It's still personal, actually.
And then in Parliament, people have to vote. It's still very personal. I'm wondering, of course, there's a reason why we have the whip system in Parliament, but I'm also wondering if it's ethical, and I'm using this advisedly, for the party outside of Parliament to insist that everybody should vote on block.
A certain way, yeah.
Because we always speak against this rubber stamping of things. Right, it's like, this is how we are going to do it anyway, so we are going to do it. But I think I don't know, but I think that our democracy is going through an interesting, phase.
Yeah, so that also kind of reminds me of what happened in Nigeria during the gubernatorial election, when a certain party in Lagos, the ruling party in Lagos, came out to say that, okay, we want all the people living in Lagos to vote a certain party unless you cannot say. And funny enough, they were actually watching.
Yeah.
They were actually monitoring who are you voting for. If you're not going to vote for our people, I'm sorry, you can't vote. And you're right, our democracy is
that kind of
really
thing, well, and then there's this whole, we hear that people had to take pictures of their
who they voted for.
vote, yes, and then send screenshots back to base, and so that people will say, and then so it's interesting times that we're in. Chakwa and Soyam NDC in flames as party snubs DJ and Issa Taylor, and then final one here, it says Thai companies Jospon signed MOU for Rice project. There's one more here. It says hundreds to miss 2023 Hajj in Ghana over killer fares.
Wow.
Okay.
And my last paper here being the Daybreak. The big one here is $100 million for terrorism operation on coastal West Africa. AFFA demands action against vote photo MPs. Nana denies knowledge of Al-Qaeda in Ghana. And crookish Lebanese businessman to be exposed by Daybreak soon. And NPA chief calls on chief imam. And that's it for the Daybreak and the papers.
All right. Well, let me just quickly give you some headlines from citinewsroom.com before we go do some sports. We have a very sad story, very sad headline here coming in. MP for Kumawu, Philip Baswa, dies at the age of 54. The other headline here, a couple more headlines, it says here, LGBTQ plus bill will meet aspirations of Ghanaians when passed. This is coming from the president. I don't have evidence of Ekufuado's ministers lured NDC's MPs with money. This is coming from Ayariga yesterday on The Point of View with Bernard Avlin. Okay, and stop trying to subtly reintroduce nuisance taxes. This is Guta speaking to government. Okay, and the final one. It says, I don't know if Al Qaeda members are in Ghana. This is coming from the president.
I like how you read that. It's almost as if we are listening to him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's you see, the thing is that he's right. Look, sleeper cells are real and they're everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
You know, and when there's a sleeper cell, you don't know that it's there. That's the idea. That's why it's called a sleeper cell. You don't know that it's there. You know, and one day, randomly, a few people get a phone call from somewhere, suddenly they all wake up and start to function, and then the country has problems, you know. So anyway, we'll take a quick break, and sports is next. Don't go anywhere.